Hi, thank you for passing through again. Hopefully you're here to stay for the entire video. I'm feeling so tired today. Excuse my bags. I'm looking a hot mess. But anyway, let's get straight to it. So picking your battles and really choosing what is priority for you. So when my son was younger, I did not realize how messy kids are. Just because you're always moving things, you're always doing things, you're changing nappies in one room, you end up with a nappy bag in another room, toys end up all over the house, and it frustrated the hell out of me. I've never been a particularly clean freak or OCD or anything like that, but I think it was just not having that control, because when it's just you by yourself, when you make the mess, you know where it is, you know how it was caused, it's just you, it's your responsibility to tidy it up. But when you have a child, oh my gosh, it's just a whole nother level, especially once they start crawling, touching, and walking and pulling things down. So what I would do, at first I would stress and always try and tidy up after my son. And I realised, what is the point? He's a child, he needs to play, he needs to make mess, this is all part of his learning. So instead, I would make sure our bedrooms and the kitchens were tidy, and the living room was the messy place. Even the passage actually as well, because that's somewhere he would always play with his little cars and balls and stuff like that. So yeah, choose one area at least that you're gonna keep tidy, and then have an area that you just don't worry about until the evening. So I wouldn't tidy up the living room until my son was in bed. So when he would go to sleep, that would be my time to hoover, to mop, to put all the toys away. And I would just have a couple of hours in the evening to enjoy a tidy living room. Whether I was watching a movie, whether I was meditating, whether I was having a little nap, it was just nice to know that my living room was tidy. And because I maintained all the other rooms in the house, it just made it easier to stay on top of everything. Okay, so the next thing I would always do as well is go to bed early. When I was a lot younger, not that I'm that old, but I used to go to bed really late. It was just the joy of being an adult and not living at home. You can go to bed whenever you want. But I started going to bed maybe half an hour after my son went to bed. So that would mean if he was by any chance to wake up in the middle of the night, I'd already got a couple of hours sleep. And if he had a really good night's sleep, we would both have the same amount of sleep and both have a relaxing night's sleep and rest. That was so important, because then the next day I felt better. I wasn't as groggy. I'm a bitch in the morning. I need my beauty sleep to function and smile and be happy. So yeah, I would make sure I would always go to bed early, so then I could wake up early and just feel refreshed. I hate that feeling of dragging myself out of bed. Why do it to yourself? So please, when your child goes to sleep, find an appropriate time for you to go to sleep as well. So the next day you're not feeling drained, you're not feeling tired, you're not feeling like you want to put your child back in bed so you can go back to bed too, because you've got to get on with the day. Okay, third thing was to also in the evenings before you go to bed, do things so you don't have as much to do the next day. So I didn't have a dishwasher at the time, but now, for example, I make sure in the evening I load the dishwasher. I maybe separate the clothes and have them ready in the washing machine. So in the morning, I can just turn the washing machine on, or I'll do things like taking clothes off the heater and folding them and putting them away. So the next day, it's just one less thing I have to do. Have a think about what you can do in the evenings before you go to bed to make your following day just that little bit easier for you. And I'm looking down at my notepad. Another thing I started to do to make life easier was prepping food. So although I love to have fresh meals, I realised I was getting stressed because there'll be some days where our routine, the time would be different. So if we got home later, that would mean I would be cooking later, which would then set everything backwards. If we were out, I would have to end up spending money on food, which I hated doing because it was just a waste of money, especially at that time when I was really restricted with my budget. So it was really important to me and a priority to me to make sure there was always food available, especially food that could be cooked quickly. So say if you already had some bolognese in the freezer, you could take that out in the morning, go about your business, have a lovely day, go to some play groups, visit somebody, come back, and all you've got to do is make some spaghetti. Maybe you've got a casserole that you've got in the freezer. Have that out, get it ready. That could be something that you do the night before. So if you've always prepped foods and it's in the freezer or in the fridge, you know the following day, okay, I just need to prepare A, B, and C to go with this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So prepping food was something that really helped my life to be a lot easier. The next thing relating to food again, always have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You do it for your kids. You make sure your child has their breakfast. You make sure they have their midday snack. You make sure they have lunch. You make sure they have dinner. You make sure they're always drinking water and they're always hydrated. So if your child needs that and your child deserves that, why don't you? Please. And on top of that, if you're eating properly, you're going to feel more energized. That means you're going to feel better throughout the day. You're not always going to be tired and drained because you're not getting enough nutrition that your body needs. And whether maybe you don't like having breakfast, okay, make sure you have a nice big cup of tea in the morning. Maybe you don't like having big lunches. Make sure you've already got your salad prepared. Maybe you find it difficult to eat when your child is eating because you still have to feed them. That's fine. Have your food ready after you feed your child and they're maybe sitting down watching a cartoon or enjoying their milk. That's your time to eat. Take care of yourself just as well as you take care of your children. And you need to stay hydrated. You need to stay energized. You need that nutrition so you can be the best mother and the best person that you can be. You don't want to be out there switching and getting angry at everybody and anybody just because you're hungry. So yeah, make sure you're having your breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No skipping meals, drinking loads of water, and taking care of yourself. Also, find your own time. So for me, my own time was the evening when my son was younger. And now that he's older, I find my extra own time in the morning. So what I mean by that is, so when my son would go to bed, and say if I was going to bed half an hour later, I would make sure that everything is sorted out so I can just chill in the evening and just watch my program, especially if it's a program that's a little bit adult. So even if you've got a young child, you know you still don't want to be watching certain things around them. If you're anything like me, you know it's all going in subconsciously. So even things like watching Atlanta Housewives, I would wait till the evening to watch that, and that would just be my time. Or I'd read a book. I love writing poetry, so I'd have that extra 20 minutes and I'd say to myself, this is my time to just be creative. And it was so, how can I explain it? It was just that moment of me being me again. Because throughout the 24 hours of the day, I am just mummy. When I'm out, even when my son's sleeping, I'm still having to be a responsible mum. But for that half an hour, it was just all about me and all about what I wanted and what I needed. Now that my son's older, I have that extra me time in the morning. I try to wake up half an hour earlier than him, so that's my time to do yoga or maybe just do a little workout or just sit in bed and enjoy a quiet house. So find your little bit of me time, whether it's the morning, afternoon or evening. Figure out what it is you're going to do in that time and stick to it because you need it and you deserve it. So I mentioned doing exercise as well. I think I had another video about this, but find some time to do some exercise. It doesn't have to be a full-on hour cardio video. It could be simply going for a walk every other day and that's your exercise. It could be doing 15 minutes of yoga. And if you've got a really small child, there are times that you can leave them in the car seat and they can watch you. Kids love watching adults do exercise. It's very interesting to them. I don't know why. But they will love seeing you stretch about and eventually they'll start copying and then can even join in. So find your time to fit in your exercise. It isn't just about looking good. It's about how you feel, your health, your well-being. Look at what's happening in this world right now. People are getting ill. People are dying. But maybe for some people, just being that bit healthier is what's going to help them get over illnesses quicker. Doesn't mean you're never going to get ill, doesn't mean you're never going to catch a cold, but it may mean that because you've been doing that work beforehand, you're just not going to suffer as much. Visiting people. So I didn't do this a lot, but when I did find it was helpful, because sometimes you just need a change of scenery and you need to be around other people, other adults that you can talk to, that you can enjoy their company. Now, I found that not a lot of people visited me, so I didn't visit a lot of people, but I would make an effort because I found that I was biting my nose to spite my face. At the end of the day, when I did go to someone's house, even if it was just for an hour, I always left feeling better. I was happy that I was out and about. It was a reason for me to get dressed up and just enjoy being outside. Even when I wasn't driving, it was great just to get on the bus and know that I'm going somewhere other than shopping or a playgroup. So yeah, visit people. For me, I'd say maybe every other month I would try and make an effort to visit someone. I got into a habit of always going to see my sister because she has children as well. But then even with that, I found that when you go to people's houses too much, you can actually end up feeling resentful because you feel like you're always the one making the effort. But at the same time, you're doing it for yourself. So just find that balance so you don't start looking at people like, so why don't you come and see me? The next thing is find your small luxuries. So for me, my small luxury was my foot spa. I used to work in Sally's, so I was able to get it really cheap. You can get them from Argos really cheap anyway. I'm sure you can find one for under £20. So in the evenings, I wouldn't always do this, but I would have at least once a week, I'd fill up my foot spa with loads of water, with my salts, with my bubbles, whatever I could find. One time I even used hair conditioner because I heard that softens the skin, and I would soak my feet. And that was my small luxury. I couldn't afford to go to a spa. No way could I afford to go to the nail shop either. So I had to find ways to do things for myself, to still remind myself that I'm special and I deserve this. Another thing I would do, and I still do now, is wearing face masks. What else would I used to do? I used to actually, well, I still do. I make my own face masks as well. I'd learned massage techniques and I'd massage my hands. I would just have times where I'd steam my face. Like, I didn't even have a proper steamer back in the day. I would use a big bowl, put a towel over my head and steam my face. And that was really good for my sinuses as well, also through during winter. So that's a good tip for anyone that gets sinus infections. Steam your face, breathe in that hot air, clear your sinuses. It makes you feel so much better, and also really good for your skin. And the last thing, which I think is the most important thing, is to ask for help. Now, I know some people unfortunately don't have any family or any friends around them, but that means then you need to look at other options. Look at the services that are offered in your community. Go to your council, ask people at playgroups. The biggest help for me were the workers that were at playgroups. And if it wasn't for those workers, I would have never have known that my son was autistic. It was those workers at the playgroup that noticed certain differences in my son compared to other children that helped me. Well, not helped me, but they referred me to services that he went to speech therapy at first, and then from there things led on. But it was those people that helped, and I asked for help. I would ask them, where else can I go? What else can I do to help my son? Are there any other playgroups in the area? It's great to meet people. You might not become best friends, but just having that outlet, that little bit of outlet, and not feeling like you're alone is amazing. And I feel like every mother needs that. If you do have family or friends around, ask them for help. Swallow your pride. Don't wait for nobody to offer, because they rarely, very rarely will, even your family members. So if you need to say to your dad, can you have my son or my daughter just once a month on the weekend? Can they come round for a couple of hours, so once a week I can go shopping and not have to deal with them running around the store like a crazy person? Ask your friend who's maybe got a child, do you want to do a swap? Things won't always last, and you might find that you might not like the way certain people look after your kids, so then it ends up stopping, or you don't like the way maybe other kids are interacting with yours. But keep trying to find options, because I am one of those people who I hate asking for help, but then at the end of the day, the only person that suffers is me, because I need that space as well. I'm sure my son gets tired of my face and my voice on a regular basis, so he needs that space too. Why am I going to be selfish and just always keep him around when I know that he needs to interact with other people, and that's going to help him develop, and it's going to help him mature, and it's going to give me time to just recharge my battery. So please, if anything you can take from this is to ask for help. And if you don't have friends and family around to help you, look at the services in your community. There must be something out there. And if you can't find it, keep searching, keep asking, speak to other mums, other parents. What did they do? Don't suffer in silence. Don't always stay by yourself in this little bubble of yours, because we all need somebody. And this is coming from somebody who feels like, yeah, I can just live in this world all alone. But even I know that I need other people, and other people can help and make my life easier. So why not make my life easier? So yeah, just have a think about really what is priority to you. What is going to make life a bit simpler for you? What is going to make you happier? What is going to just make your mind feel a bit clearer and your heart just feel at peace a bit more? Is it going to be going for that walk? Is it making sure you get that extra hour of sleep? Is it doing the washing before you go to bed so there's nothing in the sink the next day, because that always seems to irritate the life out of you? Figure out what it is for you that can make your life easier. And don't kill yourself over keeping your house tidy and always looking perfect. Do what you can. Things will get easier, things will change, your child will develop. There's always going to be different struggles and different challenges. But I want you to find a way to just add some ease to your life. So I hope this has helped somebody today. I am now going to rest because I am knackered. I don't know why. But I'll be back again with another video. And if you have any advice for me or things that you've done to make your life easier, please put it down below in the comment section, not just for me, but for other people to see it. And if you've enjoyed this video and stayed the whole way through, give it a little like. I'd really appreciate it. And I'll be back again soon. Bye.